I brought the package shelf inside and sprayed it a lovely shade of brown so it'll match the front of the house. And at the very worst, if the guys can't or won't use it, at least it'll match the house. But yeah, and I think the next thing is to figure out how to like draw a box on it, maybe some paint or tape or something, I don't know. But and make a better sign or something bigger so it actually gets used. But this should be dry tomorrow. Used exactly 1 can on it, just the perfect amount. And it'll go back outside tomorrow afternoon. All right, so in the intro to a video a couple weeks ago, I said that I had bought some new drives to fill these up, and they're in these cases. And these cases are, I'm doing what we're called shucking. Basically, it's actually cheaper to buy these drives inside of their case that are meant to sit on your desk next to your computer than it is to just buy the bare drive. So I stress tested this one. It all checked out good. I'm going to swap this one out for this one and start the stress test on the next one. And then I got another one after that. And then I'm going to take the drive out of this case and pop it into this enclosure. All right, so I've got this drive out. As we saw, I'm going to pop out the third one from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3. This is a 4 terabyte drive. All these lights are going to start blinking as soon as I pull this drive out. So this is all still usable. I could put this drive back in. It would scan it for a few minutes and then it would go back to normal. But that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop this drive in and then I believe they're all gonna blink orange. It's gonna be totally usable because 2 drives can fail or be removed and it'll be fine. Red indicates there's a problem there. There's no problem. Basically, it's gonna spend a couple, well, probably a day or two rebuilding after this. Red is going to change to a different color, probably orange, I think, while it's rebuilding. There's actually a guide in the back of here. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, a solid red means replace it because it's empty or it's not enough space. And blinking red means it's failed, but that one didn't fail. So it's going to rebuild. It's going to do its thing. That drive. There we go. Now it knows it's an empty drive. It was put in there, and it's going to start rebuilding this. When it stops blinking green, that means we're all good. And I'll do the same exact thing with the next drive, the one here that's being rebuilt. Uh-oh. We got a solid red drive. Nope. There we go. So it's going to do some weird things. The key is to not look at it while it does those things. And move on with life. And like I said, when it all returns to green, we'll swap this drive into there and continue on. So to get these open, I just kind of slide my little tool into the edge between the plastic back here and just kind of pull. And I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then this outer C-shaped shell will slide off. And like that, you'll see it's open. And from here, we just kind of keep until it slides on out. And then once it's open, we're able to kind of pop that way. That comes out, and basically what we're left with is these 4 mounts and then this one screw here that holds the little USB to serial 88 board onto it. And once that's off, we do the same thing. We swap it into the Drobo. So I just popped the third and top drive in. It's been taking about 18 hours or so to rebuild. So I expect this to be ready tomorrow afternoon or so. In the meantime, it's showing I got 21 terabytes of usable space now, whereas I had around 11 or so before. So I should be able to record quite a bit of time. I've been producing about 150 gigs of data a week, working on the house and recording what I'm doing. So I should be able to go for quite a bit of while before I need to update sizes again. And this backup here is 24 terabytes, so it's plenty to back up this. And this one died. It was 12, and one of the drives died on it. So I took them out and popped them into this cluster here. And the dead one is now sitting on a shelf. I've cleaned up some of the cracks, especially here. I need to go back over some of these, but I don't think I'm gonna try and get it as perfect as I did the other room, just simply because this ceiling is in a lot rougher shape, and it's just gonna take a lot more work. And so I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and throw some primer on this room, and after touching up that crack and a couple other small ones, and then see what happens. And I'm sure there'll be a few areas that peel kind of like the other room did. But from there, once I get a smooth, consistent color on everything, I'll be able to see more of the flaws and whatnot. And I'll just avoid this window area, as I still have to remove this and get the other piece of glass in, which I hope to do tomorrow. It's gonna hurt like hell because it's cold out, and my damaged thumb just doesn't like that cold weather at all. But I think that's the plan for here. In the meantime, I need to clean up all these bags of trash and stuff. Oh, by the way, I found out this window on the right here has been open this entire time. Basically, the latch was shut and the window was closed onto the latch, so it was open a little bit. I just never noticed it. And it took quite a bit of arrow coil to loosen everything up enough to get it to actually shut all the way. But it's shut now. No more air blowing through. But yeah, so I need to clean up this trash. There's a bunch of trash out in the other room. But to take care of it, I got myself a whole nother dumpster. And then in a few hours, the kids are coming over, and they're gonna pull all the trash out of the garage. Or at least not all of it, but a bunch of it anyway. Oh, and I painted. So I've completely forgotten about the room upstairs and all the junk that was up there. So now this is what it actually looks like with all the shit from inside the house. I missed the dumpster with that when I chucked it out the window. So there's a bunch of broken glass, so I'll just sweep that up later. But yeah, now we can start on the garage and the pile of shame. So this is what I'm calling the pile of shame. We got a bunch of junk there. Not much, but some. More of the crappy doors. Big pile of stuff. You've seen this in another video, I think. Big pile of bags that goes all the way back to the wall. And a big pile of junk here. And it goes all the way around to the front. There's a small pile of stuff outside. There's a small pile of stuff against the fence over here. And it comes all the way around to here. We got that one dresser, one little tiny dresser holding the whole thing back. So it's not often I'm gonna pay for somebody else to do anything around here, but paying the kids for 4 hours of work to fill this thing up is worth every freaking penny. All right, so I have this in. I'm getting much better at this. Not only does it look better, but I'm getting much faster at it. Hard to tell, you know, can't really compare it to the old stuff because, well, it's all cracked and dried up and broken. This edge here going down is significantly worse looking because of the angle. I couldn't get the blade angle I wanted on here, so it's just gonna have to look not as nice. But the other three sides look great, and that gives me more confidence that the rest of the stuff, the rest of the windows will look pretty good. So with this piece of glass in here, now I can go ahead and remove this internal frame, as well as this piece of wood here that was tacked on later at some point in time. And then I can start repairing all of this drywall work up here and down the side. And that'll get me closer to priming this room. So I have that frame out, and so I just need to continue knocking some of this old stuff out so I can then work on replacing it, getting it all fixed up. So things like that. That won't last very long. But there is an issue here. This is that same wire metal mesh that I've been fighting in other places of the house. And it's just as shitty, except this is rusty. And so my question is, do I just mud over it and hide it for now, and then fix it when I gut this room, which may be the easy, fast way to do it? Or do I go get a grinder and cut this out and then try to replace it with something? It's not as easy and not as fast, and it's more expensive for a short time fix, which is what I need. I don't want to do that, but I do want to do that. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna take a day and think on it. Well, I just got my answer on this actually, as I started to pull away at the stuff over here and chip away. Down here in this corner, it turned into a pretty big hole. And up here, it turned into a hole, and a lot of this was already coming apart. So I guess my answer is that basically I will tape the inside corner of this, mark it where it needs to, where I need to cut it, and with an angle grinder, just cut out this whole section of frame all the way, or not frame, but just drywall, but not all the way around. And then put some new drywall in and fix it up. That'll probably actually be faster than rebuilding it with mud. And I'll probably destroy some of the mud work I've already done, but that's okay. That's, I guess, what I gotta do here. And I'll cut this out and I'll build a new section of the drywall as well. Excuse the noise as I walk, there's a bunch of stuff on the floor. But basically, I cut out the sill all the way around the window. The wood's in pretty good shape. That's just, I'm thinking a 6x6 or something back there. It's in good shape. There's no rot. It's discolored, but there's no rot or anything. Same thing up in this area. It's just discolored, no rot. It's all in pretty decent shape. There's actually 2 layers of drywall. There's a section missing there, which is odd. I don't know what to think of that yet, but everything's okay. So I think the next step is to, I need to take the grinder and cut off all these nails that are stuck in the block. Man, those had to be a bitch to pound in. But anyways, cut those off, and then I can start fitting in new drywall. And I think I'll just do exactly what they did, which is 2 layers. And then I can get this window back together. It's really tempting to, want to break out the sander and clean all this up and whatnot. And but I know I'm gonna come back to this room in a year or so, and this room will get a full gut treatment, just like I'm doing with the other room upstairs, which I've ignored, and I just want to get on and get to working on that room again. So the faster I get this room done, the faster I can get to the other one. And this repair will be perfectly fine. I'll put a piece of drywall in here, one there. I'll try to do what I can to get the factory edges all facing out, but I don't have that many factory edges to work with. But that'll make for a nice clean window, and this room will be, then I'll just have to figure out the carpeting and or flooring. I think I'm probably gonna go on carpet, but something for this room. The grinder turned out to be a great tool for this. I didn't make some perfect cuts, but pretty darn good. So yeah, that's the next step. I think I'll start fitting some drywall in tomorrow. I'm gonna add curtains to this window and this window. What I know from the room I tore apart upstairs is that there should be wood on the other side of this drywall, right over here and right over there. So I should be able to screw right into that, hit wood, and have a nice solid foundation for the brackets. And then what I'm gonna do is measure up from this laser line and then use that same number over there. Both set of curtains are the same length, so they should match. It should have a nice uniform look in the room. So here we go, the curtains are up. They got a nice even height between the floor and the ceiling on them. And it just happens the height I picked just hangs them right above the outlets, which is nice and handy. And they block a significant amount of light. Barely any light comes through. Actually, by adding the lights in the other room over there, that actually I noticed one night cast a significant amount of light onto this wall. It lit up the room pretty well. So now that problem is gone. And the only thing I have left to do before the new guy moves in is to replace this door with a traditional swinging door. And now that, as you've already seen, the grinder does a pretty good job on these walls. So that's the, I'm gonna get a door maybe this week and get that installed. Basically the frame is pretty close to a standard size, except for the fact that drywall goes over there, everything, and makes it narrower and shorter than a standard size door. So by cutting away the drywall, just like I did on that window, I should be able to fit a standard size door in here, and it'll fit nicely. So basically what I'm gonna do now is remove any remaining nails that are stuck in the brick, which, by the way, they didn't have nail guns and stuff like that back in the day. They literally had to pound these freaking nails into the block. I can't imagine what it was like being a framer doing that. But anyways, I'm gonna remove those, and then I'm gonna continue to do this and cut back the drywall to the level of the brick. And then from there, there's a little bit of furring here that I might be able to screw into. But from there, basically, I can attach the new drywall, and I'll probably do 2 layers. I might do 1, I might do 2 to get it to come out to the window frame. I only need 1 up here. And then same thing, I'll trim this back to the furring here. You can kind of see how much it sticks down. And that should give me a pretty flat surface to work with. So that created a pretty impressive amount of dust. Anyways, I got this pretty flush with it. So I should be able to get this all attached how I want. And it should come out with a fairly clean line. I think if I do it right, I'll have the factory edge of the drywall sticking out, and I won't have to mess around with tape or anything. And the only reason I don't want to is just simply because it's a temporary fix. If this were the long-term fix, then I would definitely be doing all that. But anyways, now I can get that in. I can get these in, get that in, get that in, and make it look like something again. I didn't feel like stopping after doing the cutting and stuff, so I just kept on going. I got pretty far. I got the new drywall in here, and basically all around it. I need to work on that a lot more. I got the first coat of mud on. So tomorrow I should be able to come back, clean up a lot of the edges, get the second lighter skim coat on, fix up some of this stuff here and there. But this should be ready to prime maybe by the end of the week. That'll be pretty cool. All right, so I needed to do some work on the blue computers and pull them out, and it was kind of a pain to pull them out because they're so deep. So I went and picked up the rails so I can just slide them out and they'll stay mounted and everything, stay plugged in, the whole bit. And the problem is the rails use square screw holes, whereas everything I have has round screw holes. So I popped on and I ordered a StarTech 4-post rack with square screw holes. They'll take cage nuts and the whole bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this now and then transfer most of the stuff from the rack on the right into the new one. And then that wood rack will be set aside for now, and it will have a purpose later on. All right, so that little project is complete. Everything kind of slides out nice and easily now, so I can get to it. I do need to swap the Ethernet cables on the back of the blue ones over to some longer ones so they pull all the way out before hitting the rack as they go around the back. The next project up here, also while I was in there, I maxed out the RAM on each one of these blue ones, so they're all now at 32 gigs. And I swapped in the hard drives from here. Interesting thing, one of them doesn't show up, so I'm not sure what's up with that. The bad one is sitting on the floor back there. I know I didn't mix that up because I popped it in the computer behind me. So it's curious that it doesn't show up in there, but it shows up everywhere else. So I might pop it into the other computer and give it, see what I can do with it. But one of the other projects is in these two handbrake computers. They just have a gaming CPU fan that's just kind of blowing down onto the CPU. And it's not a ton of clearance between the lid and the top of the fan. So I picked up these Dynatron CPU coolers. There's a fan that snaps onto this black bracket here. But basically they'll go in there and they'll pull the fan from the front, pull the air from the front of the case to the back. They're made specifically for a 2RU case, so it should work out pretty well. So this looks pretty decent. Each one of these back here is a bundle of 3, one for IPMI and then 2 for the NICs on the back. So I just need to make these longer. So they go, so this can go all the way out the front. Everything else is all nice and tucked up. There's still a couple things left in the other rack, and it'll just kind of sit there. I need to pull the Raspberry Pis out of this rack, and I just kind of do a little moving around, and then I can take that monitor from over there and pop it in the top of here. If I use a different shelf, I can get this stuff pushed back further and get that all up there. So that's the project for this right now, all nice and complete.